Yeah, it's on the 2 answer.
Too often case.
Too often case. Ready?
Yeah.
Just ready? No, we're gonna open it again. Okay. Good. Ready? Alright. First off, is topicality, interpretation of purpose must restrict the ability to target kill advance weapon capabilities and narrow the definition of target killings to operate under the same rule of law, judgment, as well. Legal awareness of known the individual members of the enemy's long-standing legal practices, new that against the technology of the start military objective of more precision rules of government target killing methods turn a weapon use their prohibition of the war law of the technology, advanced weapon system, the armed conflict, so long as they fully combat with the law of war, and they only limited the authority of one type of targeted killing, not the entire set. No solvency. Number 612. Drone strikes coming forward varieties targeted killings, inter strikes over combat areas and covert operations. Targeted killing occurs when the drone strike is killed a terrorist whose identity is unknown to the team, direct and immediate threat. He is carried in strikes the target person. His name was not known, but the actions brought the high ranking terrorist story media over the combat operation, including drone strike continued to regular military operation, finally covert operations that are launched against the usual military targets, any hostile militant, not just high ranking ones. Both negative ground knife claims, the tiny, not specific, statutory restricted, making it impossible to get specific links that are possible to garner good offense from encouraging bidirectional acts that claim limitations that actually increase war powers, make targeted kill more effective, kill switch side debate, and T version of the app bans severe strikes in predictable limits limiting the topic code literature of the statutory restrictions on targeted killing, see precision, they explore the negative research burden, kills debatability, vote for fairness and education. Next off is critique. Aren't you tired of the well-meaning liberals or our community ever playing the game because they think they can save the world? They say destroying the just war theory that creates the line between the just and the unjust war, that we can remove the emptiness and categorization that lead to the exclusion of the isms they seek to purify the world, but this ignores the very course of the history and the impact of purification rate produces that they tried to say, lose in content when they try to categorize under the threat inside and the outside human animal inclusion exclusion destructive power of the monster experience and anything make failures phenomenon is profane toward the creature between the war. The next monster is employed simultaneous strength and stabilization of artifice, which culture that goes separate from the nature of the artifice. Human and non-human pathological monsters create the breakdown of the boundaries of power, but against the break of the boundaries monster serve a variety of functions involved material. We must remain imaginary target permutations of either possible political narratives that map out these monsters times imagination not aspects and just self and the other rather than disarming between the conditions of everyday aspect and the common notions of rational cognitive subject that given naturally the essential thought of becoming imagination topological model things behind quantifications of behind like a monster and imagination itself is outside thought inside of the essentialism and the struggle with the boundaries, and therefore their attempt to blur the line and the curation as a project of purifying war ignores the history of purity and what always follows that the monstrous imagine a line loose in content. When all the boundaries are challenged to the create the safety of the friendly life community under the threat of invasion, but the monsters outside the minds to dominate the colonial first of the third intervention the purity is approached and the equal close to the other, producing the monster that means non-human animals as criminal policing that have to fit the monsters and reproduction, the ontological hygiene of the community's ontological purity, the maintenance of the sacrifice of strategy of monsters, producing only the expelled communities, the stranger with acting to rejuvenate the law of community monsters and the external life always on and least close to come to exposing such a factor the core the law of resistance is very limited the law of the monstrous because of the proximity of the monsters instead to keep emotion exclusion the monster is here to lock with the space between the natural and the world and the social of uninhabitability. Nietzsche warns us that because beware that when fighting monsters you yourself do not become a monster, for when you gaze long into the abyss gazes also to you. Now the affirmative will scoff and sit perplexed and wonder why they're fighting the monsters while they are trying to save the monster. Of course this might be the correct and affirmative thinking thinks the two-way grabs the perm blocks and writes out the no link. Well, I'm sorry for you, but you do simply not understand. Saving the monster is the problem. Remember the imagined line. Now the question is, what does this mean? Purity, and the problem of attempting to save the monster is the problem. The one they see is nothing but over-glorified pedagogical intervention, whose intervention may be good, but whose consequences only serve to make matters worse. Savagely draw the line, lose content. This system is go to the monstrous set against the human life and turn life and consider the monstrous term the struggle to remain humans as the host. A literal figurative animal becoming the wars of power of monsters ever since possibility to control the natural order, the authority of all domains for the primitive the kingdom of state as the monster is affected multiplied rather than simply the law, the palatable interpretation of the law. The absent monster becomes a model that system of relational law cannot be territorialized. The multiplication of the monsters embraces the bipolitical production of life without the recourse of qualifications as to the authentic, the sensitive with the sense of innovation, the new moves of form life living business monster truly out of bounds and ready to see bestiary, the technology organizing evaluated value monster winning bestiary able to recognize the possibilities of monster misagilation for the fighting the social political economic and ecological activism bestiary is more history monster, the bestiary justifies the monsters not existently outside the community, the class of the public is a complex attorney out in the outside of the inside, political and natural reason, close and distant, the zone between these suspended the law of recognition, identification of belonging. Monsters are domestic ordinance, debate the strain and the layer of bestiary, so the native construct of monsters such that can be given so the inevitability, the bestiary disaster, the political, pedagogical, priority, pedagogical technology that we struggle with the creative, producing destructive forces of imagination as a stake with bestiary, the music cut across the two extreme positions of imagination, inherently dangerous organs, imagination inherently linked to pedagogy of the colleagues, the pedagogy of the indication, out of bounds of the location resides at very limited recognizable pedagogy that conserve the sudden appearance of the strange facts, monsters of the advance of the philosophy, dangers, obstruction of the sacrifice of more diligence, devoted to education, being involved in projects of real the monsters of the monsters of the outside world, scholars, the schools portray the monsters, and unusual beasts must contain the generate every sacrifice or separation is pedagogy of utilize the bestiary to consider five factors of original integration of radical and integration of the law, the capitalism, law, the human ex pedagogy is critical of providing providing the political narratives of emerging for the inhabitants, translating the new political narratives of critical bestiary is essential to critique the imaginative violence of monsters in order to create a new narrative that democratic and creatively opening bestiary monsters are horrific and human post-humanist intelligence stimulated unimaginative factors of the political narratives beyond the capture of the common law to devise of capitalist marketplace exploitation exists in unknown and home mechanic and imagination located either inside or outside know itself rather because there's no position outside the monsters we cannot find a safe location religious judgment of the position the authority of knowledge of the inhabited free world has divided the sense that we must struggle as a flame monster from the monster as a form of uncanny dwelling we cannot transcend the permutation of the monsters form education no longer the unproductive as an incompetence the shape of the human monsters the monsters the key of home locality which includes any uncanny form of the unity repressed this is no alternative to spatial topography to seize the public and private by exposing the monsters level with the most private autonomous space of the potential home space revealing the key remains lodged in the most intimate spheres the location of this location opening the exodus the community coming community was made the home of this pedagogy as location of the struggle to reclaim the monster against capital separation the political scapegoating as pedagogy means we have to move the prescribed limit of education monsters speak the barrier of the political and economic concern the global capitalism we're proposing as a pedagogy dwelling in the habitable realm of monsters at the edge of the map of the imagined world marked card there and draw a certain type of lines these are your maps we live in a new world a new place where war is waged and we're friends the next day in the day that we're seeking someone something everything to destroy this is some might say the status quo but it's also the affirmative now they're going to spin some slick ass stories so try to give you two of them in the perm but you won't they can't attempt to purify the world by monstrosity species and all there is they attempt to solve or ignore the fact that one it is done and then what we have no idea how we got here where we are going what we do next they simply erase the world of the evil movement you vote for them but what are the does and what does that world look like they haven't told you see we live in a world where evil is under siege we've come too far the evil is still not eradicated because evil has been disappeared into everything formed in the underside of the modern social relations the more ideal and utopic the world becomes the more volatile explosive it becomes Baudrillard 93 explains the world post-aft where did the evil go the answer is everywhere the amorphous and modern the evil knows nothing of balance annihilating its own natural reference by the whitewashing violence and performing cosmetic surgery the negative the conservative solely codified management of this discourse of good sizes were no longer as possible to speak the evil leads movement force size and bio and terroristic forms that exists now does the world of evil just disappear with the signature no it just becomes more invisible and more insidious Baudrillard continues the fundamental difference between resolvers themselves and deceivers unpatched fabric increasing university behaviors and research justification of real distance must comprehend some between the new partitions. Our new partitions are arrayed against undemocratic and nationalistic, the security and an evil that is every state that insists on sovereignty against the opposed order of the United States and the West. This new order assures that all forms of violent otherness and big order incorporated in the discourse of the difference of simultaneously and the place of exclusion and exclusion, the recognition of discretion, all in order to the order of this act of the universal harmony mechanism when exclusionary status has been revoked was caught up in the far drawers of the psychology. We provide you with the tools to draw the line that is what they call the BC or the pride, an exactly perspective fostering what we call an exit pedagogy, a new form of education that recognizes the monstrous possibility of the radical imagination beyond the capture of the communal law. This is not the substance of the law of the political indetermination, rather scholarly exodus from law of the doctors and the polls to come. We must not speak to save the monster or push it to decide one another because it's exactly that what creates the inclusive exclusive of the community that erasing the lines is sufficient that they merely mask the evil that is already there, creating more lines of the monsters, more things to destroy. We are not only supporting any form of actualized terrorism, killing, genocide, or any reality that only other fixed image of the predicate of violence, rather our permutation remains on the level imaginary that we charter BC. This is simultaneous demonstration of the destabilization narrative that is produced by the very apparatus that debate and haunts to affirm the monster by drawing a line that we can chart bestiarity has come precondition any destabilization, any deconstruction, any project that attempt to rid the world of monsters because we can recognize that the monster is not something that we liberated, we can never move on, instead we remain trapped in status quo, free from the world of the monsters one at a time, blurring our understanding of the monstrous of evil, only to create a more monstrous and more evil, but this time more invisible and much more insidious narrative, prefigures policy, the structural foundation upon which our current social political occasion unfolds is one structured by animal monstrosity in the world, governed by the practical imperatives, by hunting down all monsters, by provocative measures, exterminating all the germs of all the external shared by the performing cosmetic surgery, and the negative concern itself solely with quantified management of the discourse of the good, the exceptional state tells a different story, one where evil is metaphoricized and viral and terroristic forms that obsess us, the self-fulfilling prophecies find their way into the plotline. Sure 6, September 11th, raise national security, the new high season, the new conservative factors with policy to making less America less secure. The Bush administration not to treat the attackers as human traits and the villains, monsters who must be destroyed. The president and the conservatives have produced a huge public body of the public word. The monsters that need to destroy them. Every policy begins with the stories of human power. They create the framework of the U.S. policy enacted to display nationalism and justify. Mark the card there. Go to case. The infatuation with the state is problematic. Their use of institution, the answer to call. Nothing obscures the fact fact that the plan in fact does nothing to stop the war, make it more ethical, instead it becomes more opaque, and the real wars continue to extend the statutes and abstraction when you certainly realize the massive structurally simply that cannot understand if you see the totality of the state. Constantly tell stories about itself. The storytelling is inseparable from their day models that teach state war, and justify struggle and declared internal abilities that criminalize the black and indigenous populations to descend and local racial city finds voting to bound populations of Puerto Ricans, Filipinos, Mexicans, and Iranians. We can begin to see how policy and massing and starvation build the black youth. Not big.
That's the critique.
That was an option, yeah.
Okay. What happens when the judge signs the ballot?
When the judge signs the ballot, they draw a line. And, when we say draw a line, that line is not a line of separation. That line is a stance that we will look inside of the status quo and not be one that replicates anti-monstrosity.
What is your interpretation on T?
Interpretation? You must restrict the ability to target to kill.
When, on the cross at the 1AC, we literally say we ban all targeted killings. How do we not meet
Our Uber 6 card 12 is very specific that targeted killing and drone strikes come in like 4 different categories.
Okay, there's only one form of drone strikes that falls under targeted killing. There are 3 other forms of drone strikes that don't exist inside of targeted killing. You don't stop all drone strikes, you don't stop all targeted killing.
Okay. So your link on the critique is predicated on the fact that we're like masking the other forms of violence the United States engages in when the app is an open criticism. Okay, what's the link then?
Okay, that's the Rodriguez link that was on case. But the link actually came out in Crossix when you said, yes, we can make and solve all war. You're trying to purify the world. That's bad. That
so we should not try to make the world a better place?
Yeah, because what happens when we do that? When we try to purify the world reverses back and something becomes worse. When we try to get rid of evil, what happens? Where does evil go? Evil just becomes more invisible. Evil becomes something we can't see.
Okay, if it becomes more invisible and something that we can't see, doesn't it just manifest itself less often?
No.
How come? If we can't see that or know that evil's
We have
there,
a black president, that doesn't mean that racism is gone. We have a black president, that doesn't mean that the evil of racism is gone. People can say this is a post-racial America, but that would be a blatant lie. When we see things as being post-racial or
status quo is slowly like progressing in the correct direction though.
It's progressing in the correct direction. How?
Just like you see barriers breaking down, like the civil rights movement.
Really?
And we allowed other minority groups to vote. How
really?
is SCRO not like?
Has it changed at all? I might not be in chains, but I'm still in chains. You can't see them. That's the problem.
Okay, so what is the impact to having these unseen forms of violence?
Well, there's a lot of impacts. One impact is reversibility, that the world is in fact on a reversal continuum of whatever. Like, we push back, and what we try to push back produces what is considered monstrous, and that is problematic. When we try to liberate the world, that produces the monster. And it is a constant reproduction. The monster is the perfect domestic foreigner. The monster is something that always needs to be excluded, going out, and sought to destroy, and that is bad.
Okay.
You try to purify the world with that, you kill them easier.
Wait a minute.